story of 4 decades in 4 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, let us watch the video.
The upheaval of 1979 pushed Afghanistan into decades of war and unrest. Afghans had no choice but to flee violence. 4.5 million entered Pakistan with the hope to find shelter and refuge. Pakistan welcomed Afghans. Humanity chronicled a new standard. Warm hearts, open arms. People shared their lands. Houses, hujras, and orchards. Offered roofs to the homeless. Hosts compromised their ease and comfort. Across 335 settlements in Pakistan, government established countrywide commissionerates for Afghan refugees, managed increasing challenges, trained staff with extensive outreach, a feat never achieved before. The international community and UNHCR vowed to assist Pakistan in providing food, water, electricity. Government created dedicated structures and provided exclusive security. Delivered free, accessible education for all. Millions of Afghan children were in school again. Given free basic and advanced health facilities to all. Then food assistance discontinued. More challenges arose, resulting in the movement of refugees to urban centers. With a renewed commitment, in urban centers and 54 refugee camps today, Pakistan facilitates Afghan refugees in all aspects of life, with millions registered and documented. Iris scans and biometric identity provided dignity and safety through inclusive policies and management. Provides free primary education, easy access to higher and professional education, thousands of scholarships for higher studies, grants financial freedom, access to the private sector, trainings, skills, and livelihoods, encourages businesses and trades, a flexible visa regime, and guidance centers, support programs for social cohesion. 40 years on, Pakistan still keeps its vow. Cultural and social activities flourish, hopes and dreams, enabling the return home with free and informed choice. It's time for global peace and prosperity to share this responsibility together and fulfill our promise to humanity.
I will now request the Federal Minister of States and Frontier Regions of Pakistan, Mr. Mehboob Sultan, to deliver his welcome remarks.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, UN Secretary General, UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Second Vice President of Afghanistan, fellow parliamentarians and cabinet colleagues, Excellencies, ambassadors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. I am honored and privileged to welcome all the participants of the International Conference on 40th years of hosting Afghan refugees in Pakistan. It was a safe duty, and I am glad to share that it had been and is still being pursued as per our traditions and humanitarian requirements. Excellencies, as you know, this conference is jointly convened by the Government of Pakistan and UNHCR to highlight Pakistan's immense contribution and assistance of UNHCR, donor countries and other stakeholders since 40 years. We are to reaffirm our commitments for enhanced solidarity through more vigorous and predictable partnerships for the protected refugees situation. The aim is to galvanize support for the creation of conditions that enable voluntary repatriation and sustainable reintegration in Afghanistan, and international responsibility sharing with host countries. In line with the solution strategy for Afghan refugees support platform, ladies and gentlemen, the 2 days conference, apart from the ongoing high-level segment, will cover 2 ministerial roundtable meetings, high-level panel discussions, and refugees' experiences. These interactions, statements, and speeches would greatly help to explore the multi-dimensional approaches and pursuing the durable solution of the protected refugee situation. I'm quite hopeful that the 2 days event would give us some tangible and durable solution that would not only help in alleviating the suffering of Afghan refugees in the region, but across the globe as well. Distinguished delegates, I would like to conclude by assuring the Government of Pakistan's continued commitment to durable solution of the Afghan refugee situation under our SSAR approach that strives for dignified repatriation. Participation.
Thank you, Minister Sultan, for your remarks. Now I will request the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Mr. Filippo Grandi, to please share the efforts of his organization in helping the refugees and the host communities.
Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Vice President, Secretary General, Ministers, and ladies and gentlemen. For the last 40 years, as we have heard, the people of Pakistan have stood with their Afghan neighbors. Through the early days of upheaval and displacement, when a third of the country's population fled across its borders in just a few years. Through moments of hope, when millions returned, seeking stability and the future back home. As the UNHCR representative in Afghanistan almost 20 years ago, I was personally privileged to be part of a collective, extraordinary effort to support 3 million Afghans return home after years of exile. It was a historic repatriation, and allow me to add the highlight of my professional experience. But Pakistan, and of course also Iran, have been with Afghan refugees through bitter times of hardship and loss, renewed conflict and uncertainty, and through years of efforts to rebuild a fractured nation and secure the peaceful future that the people of Afghanistan deserve. This is what we're here to mark today: the compassion, the hospitality, the solidarity of the people of the host countries, and the courage and resilience of the Afghan people. For Afghans, as you know, the story of their exile has been long and painful, marked by moments of hope and despair. A story that will not be complete until solutions can be found back in their own country. From the refugee perspective, that path remains uncertain. Inside Afghanistan, fighting continues to kill and maim civilians, shut down schools and clinics, and limit economic activity. More than 400,000 people were displaced within the country last year alone by conflict, drought, and other natural hazards. And just 8,000 refugees were able to return home through the voluntary repatriation program. For some refugees, nonetheless, solutions can be possible, even in these difficult circumstances. And I commend the commitment of the government of Afghanistan to the return and reintegration of its nationals and to addressing internal displacement. Improved institutional arrangements have been put in place to drive these efforts. And national Afghan peace and development programs now include land allocation schemes and targeted reintegration support. This is valuable work that must be continued and supported in order to create conditions for larger and sustainable returns. I also welcome the constructive dialogue between the governments of Afghanistan, Iran, and Pakistan in the framework of the Solutions Strategy for Afghan Refugees, launched together with UNHCR in 2012, when the Secretary General was the High Commissioner for Refugees. Working on solutions is all the more important as efforts to revitalize the peace process in Afghanistan continue and hopefully gain momentum. Afghan displacement can only be solved by peace, and peace will be strengthened by solving forced displacement. Over the years, the governments and people of the host countries have not only welcomed Afghans, but have to a large extent absorbed them into the fabric of their societies, as we have seen from the video, always looking ahead to the day when the refugees will be able to return, but recognizing that in the meantime, they deserve the chance to establish a home, to move freely, educate their children, build productive and dignified lives. Even today, Pakistan and Iran together continue to host 90% of registered Afghan refugees globally, some 2.4 million people. In addition, temporary labor migration and other forms of cross-border movement in the sub-region mean that both countries also host large non-refugee Afghan populations. In recent years, there have been commendable efforts towards identification and documentation of these populations and enhancing access to passports and work permits. I encourage these efforts to continue and to be accelerated. The Islamic Republic of Pakistan, which was for 22 years the world's largest refugee hosting country, has been a long-standing global leader in the field of refugee protection. Last December, I was honored to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister as a co-convener of the first ever Global Refugee Forum in Geneva. This generosity has been reflected in inclusive policies to enable access by Afghan refugees to public education and healthcare, efforts accompanied by pioneering work in the field of biometric registration, and multi-year investments in building social cohesion through the Refugee Affected and Hosting Area Initiative. The government's recent decision to allow Afghan refugees to open bank accounts will help pave the way to greater economic inclusion. And we should not forget that the Islamic Republic of Iran has also been a global example. Progressive education policies have driven up literacy rates and transformed the prospect of generations of Afghan refugees. Refugees in Iran can access free primary health care and the National Health Insurance Scheme. Work rights have been progressively expanded over the years, and most of these commendable initiatives are funded from Iran's own resources, despite escalating economic pressures impacting both the refugees and their hosts. Ladies and gentlemen, the history of Pakistan's solidarity with Afghan refugees, which we honor today, shows that generosity has not come without cost. Hosting millions of refugees presents enormous challenges. It has an impact on local economies, on infrastructure, on services, on security, on the environment. Hosting refugees is a responsibility exercised on behalf of the international community, a responsibility that we must recognize has not been equitably shared. And the substantial number of young and mobile Afghans do indeed embark increasingly on dangerous journeys beyond the sub-region, principally towards Europe and the Gulf countries. But the vast majority of refugees remain in the two neighboring countries, and there, international support, while welcome, remains woefully insufficient. The Global Compact on Refugees was shaped by the need for more equitable burden sharing, including in large, protracted refugee situations. Now is the time to make that commitment real, here. And to this end, at the Global Refugee Forum in December, we activated a dedicated support platform for the solution strategy for Afghan refugees. I appeal to donors in particular to join the platform and lend strong support, including through the mobilization of development partners and resources. The past 40 years have equipped us with a wealth of experience and important lessons. It is now up to us to use them wisely. Giving up is not an option. My greatest hope is that this conference, for which I thank the Honorable Prime Minister and the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, will call attention to the human consequences of this protracted crisis and galvanize progress towards a resolution. Meanwhile, we cannot abandon Afghan refugees and Afghans inside the country to another year, let alone to another decade of carving out a precarious existence while waiting for peace to come. Thank you.
Thank you, High Commissioner Grandi, for your remarks. Now I request the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Makhdoom Shah Mahmood Qureshi, to please come and share his thoughts with us.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable Prime Minister, Secretary General, Vice President of Afghanistan, High Commissioner, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to the beautiful city of Islamabad. Your presence today to mark the 40 years of Afghan refugees in Pakistan is a testimony of solidarity with Afghan refugees and their hosting communities. I commend the Secretary General and High Commissioner, Mr. Grandi, for their leadership in advocating and building conducive environments for the refugees worldwide. Excellencies, over the last 4 decades, nearly 3 generations of Afghan refugees sought shelter in Pakistan, fleeing from violence and war in their homeland. At its peak, Pakistan hosted 5 million refugees. Even today, we continue to host 3 million registered and unregistered Afghan refugees, which remains second largest protracted refugee crisis in the world. Pakistan's cooperation to deal with this crisis is guided by the basic principles of Islamic values to provide shelter and hospitality to the refugee on compassionate grounds. The Pak-Afghan relationship, which is also anchored in shared history, common faith, and cultural affinity, has provided an impetus to host millions of Afghan refugees in my country. Excellencies, the first global refugee forum, where Prime Minister Imran Khan, along with the UN Secretary General, gathered in Geneva in December 2019, resulted in a large number of commitments and pledges for refugees. A significant step was taken to launch support platform for solutions strategy for Afghan refugees. The support platform was jointly launched by Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, and the UNHCR. Among other things, the support platform aims to promote and support refugee return, provides assistance to host countries and communities, and enhance capacity for sustainable reintegration in Afghanistan. Excellencies, every Afghan refugee is hoping that this conference would seize the opportunity provided by a rare confluence of forces where expectations for peace in Afghanistan have not only arisen, but are also rising every day. They are looking at this conference with great hopes and expectations. They are aiming for increased enrollment places in schools, colleges, and universities. They're also expecting that together you will give an unprecedented support to the peace process. Afghan refugees are now expecting that with hope for peace, you will help them rebuild their country. They want to know if you will equip them with the required skills and resources. Their aspirations are genuine and must be met with equal opportunities. Today, I'm asking you to join hands with Pakistan to provide for their basic needs and enable them to live a dignified life. Excellencies, no state can handle the magnitude of this crisis alone. International cooperation is required more than ever before. It is imperative that you revalidate the principles of sharing responsibility and burden. For Pakistan, the caring of refugees is shaped by the human values of our people, the values of generosity, compassion, and hospitality. Despite constraints, Pakistan has provided protection, offered opportunities for education, health, livelihoods, and social mobility to millions of Afghan refugees. As much as Pakistan can, we have provided vocational training and skilled-based programs as part of efforts to help build human capital for a prosperous Afghan nation. We're also taking measures such as allowing opening of bank accounts to facilitate their participation in our formal economy so that they live a life of self-reliance. We have registered nearly 1 million undocumented and virtually stateless Afghans in Pakistan. This identity entitles them to return to Afghanistan, obtain legal travel documents, benefit from generous visa policy of Pakistan, and contribute to the development of their country of origin as well as destination. We're also pursuing a policy of return of Afghan refugees with dignity, safety, and honor. Excellencies, Pakistan prefers adoption of a strategic approach, one that prevents the conflicts from eruption and one that seeks to resolve long-standing disputes. Peace and stability in Afghanistan is indispensable. Pakistan would continue to facilitate the Afghan-led, Afghan-owned peace and reconciliation process. Excellencies, today I would like to avail this opportunity to place before you 7-point agenda to convert the support platform for solution strategy for Afghan refugees into an implementation action plan. This is all the major important when peace and reconciliation efforts are making headways. 1. Extend support to Afghan peace process as an enabler of settling Afghan refugees and to help ease the global refugee burden. 2. Renew your commitments and pledges to bring the gap between the requirements of Afghan refugees and host communities created due to insufficient resources for their protection and well-being. 3. Reinforce existing partnerships, forge new ones, and encourage additional states, international organizations, and other stakeholders to come forward to fulfill this collective responsibility toward Afghan refugees and host communities. 4. Extend and enhance resettlement opportunities for Afghan refugees in third countries. 5. Establish complementary pathways for Afghan refugees in the form of additional scholarships, employable skills, trainings, and jobs opportunities by supporting services infrastructure of the host communities. 6. Enhance assistance for living conditions in high return areas in Afghanistan. 7. Create an international fund to help return of the Afghan refugees and to de-risk the private sector for investing and building human capital for Afghan refugees and creating economic opportunities for them in host communities. Excellency, finally, I take this opportunity to reaffirm that the government and people of Pakistan will continue to support their Afghan brothers and sisters who have chosen to stay in our country as a place of safety and refuge. We will also work with the international community on developing a gradual, time-bound, and well-resourced and mutually agreed roadmap on refugee return. This should be a vital component of peace deal for stability and sustainable prosperity in Afghanistan. I thank you.
Thank you, Foreign Minister Qureshi, for your remarks. Now I would request the second Vice President of Afghanistan, Mr. Ustad Danish Sarwar, to come up on stage and share his views with us.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. برادر گرامی جلالت مآب عمران خان صدر اعظم جمهوری اسلامی پاکستان، جلالت مآب جناب آقای گوترش سرمنشی سازمان ملل متحد، جناب آقای گرندی کمیشنر عالی ملل متحد در امور پناهندگان، دکتر صاحب خیلزاد نماینده خاص ایالات متحده آمریکا، وزرا، سفرا و نمایندگان محترم دولت‌ها و سازمان‌های بین‌المللی، مهمانان عالی قدر، خانم‌ها و آقایان، السلام علیکم و رحمت الله و برکاته. در ابتدا از دولت جمهوری اسلامی پاکستان و مخصوصاً جلالت مآب عمران خان صدر اعظم صمیمانه تشکر میکنم که به مناسبت 40 سالگی میزبانی پاکستان از مهاجرین افغان این کنفرانس مهم را دایر کردند و همچنین از نمایندگان همه کشورها و سازمانهای بین‌المللی از مقامات سازمان ملل متحد، مخصوصاً جناب آقای گوترش تشکر میکنم که هم در برگزاری این کنفرانس همکاری کردند و اشتراک کردند و همواره در طول این 40 سال از حامیان مهاجرین افغان بودند. حضار گرامی، متن کامل سخنرانی به انگلیسی و خدمت شما توضیح شده. ما خلاصه او را در چند نقطه خدمت شما ارائه میکنم. در این رابطه 3 موضوع مرتبط به هم درباره دیدگاه‌های دولت افغانستان را خدمت شما مطرح میکنم. اول موضوع مهاجرین. ما در تاریخ و فرهنگ دینی خود 2 تجربه بسیار ارزشمند از مهاجرت در صدر اسلام را داریم. یکی مهاجرت و پناه آوردن جمعی از مسلمانان به حبشه و دیگری به مدینه. این مهاجرت ها روابط دوستی و برادری بین ملت ها و اقوام مخصوصاً بین مسلمانان و مردم حبشه را مستحکم ساخت و در مدینه باعث برقراری صلح بین باشندگان آن گردید و مهمتر از همه این که در مدینه به دولت سازی و ملت سازی و ایجاد ثبات سیاسی و اجتماعی منجر شد. مهاجرت مردم افغانستان در دوره جهاد ضد شوروی سابق نمونه از همین مهاجرت ها بود. در دهه 1980 بیش از 60 میلیون افغان به پاکستان و ایران مهاجر شدند. ما از پاکستان و ایران از بابت این که در آن سالهای جنگ و جهاد به مردم ما پناه دادن و پناهگاه برای همیشه سپاسگزار هستیم. در آن سالها پاکستان برای ما واقعا یک پناهگاه بود. پناهگاه به معنای واقعی کلمه که رشته های دوستی و برادری بین 2 ملت را نیز برای همیشه محکم و استوار ساخت. بدون شک حضور انبوهی از مهاجرین ما در کشورهای همسایه مشکلاتی هم برای میزبانها داشته است، اما میخوام تاکید کنم که در بسیاری از حالات مهاجرین ما در اقتصاد این کشورها نقش مثبت داشتند. مهاجرین ما معمولاً بار دوش میزبانهای خود نبودند، بلکه با حفظ عزت و غرور خود کار کردند و از آبله دست خود نان خوردند و حتی با عهده گرفتن کارهای شاقه و طاقت فرسا در کشورها سهم بزرگی در آبادانی آنها آبادانی کشورهای میزبان داشتند. اما از سال 2001 به بعد که در افغانستان یک نظام مبتنی بر قانون اساسی و انتخابات حاکم شد و پاکستان هم این دولت و مشروعیت آن را به رسمیت شناخت، متاسفانه گروه‌هایی از مخالفین دولت افغانستان در پاکستان از میان مهاجرین به سربازگیری دست زدند و در حقیقت از کمپ‌های مهاجرین برای خود پناهگاه و آموزشگاه ساختند و در همین کمپ‌ها علیه دولت مشروع افغانستان دست به تبلیغات زدند و حتی جنگ‌های تخریبی و تروریستی را بر ضد دولت مشروع افغانستان آغاز کردند. این وضعیت باعث شد که خشونت‌ها و بی‌ثباتی‌ها و ناامنی‌ها در افغانستان همچنان تاکنون تداوم پیدا کند. جناب معابان گرامی، در رابطه با عودت مهاجرین چند نکته کوتاه را یادآوری می‌کنم. یک، در طول 5 سال اخیر برخلاف تصور جامعه بین‌المللی، عودت مهاجرین به عنوان یک موج دوامدار از پاکستان و ایران به صورت پیوسته جریان داشته است. از سال 2002 تا 2019 میلیون ها مهاجر از کشورهای مختلف مخصوصاً پاکستان و ایران به افغانستان بازگشتند. ما همیشه از عودت مهاجرین استقبال کرده ایم و همچنان استقبال میکنیم. دو، اما واضح است که موضوع مهاجرین افغان در پاکستان یا ایران و یا هر جای دیگر نباید به یک مسئله سیاسی و به یک عامل فشار بر حکومت افغانستان تبدیل شود و مهاجرین ما نباید به خاطر مسائل سیاسی مورد بی‌مهری و فشارهای بیجا قرار گیرند و حقوق بشری آنان تلف شود. ما بر این باوریم که باید با کمک و مشوره همدیگر و با نظارت سازمان ملل متحد برنامه و مکانیزم مشترکی را تنظیم کنیم که عودت به عنوان یک پروسه عادی و منظم و با آگاهی و آمادگی و همکاری دو طرف تطبیق شود. 3. در مکانیزم عودت باید در پرتو معاهدات و اسناد بین‌المللی اولا عودت باید داوطلبانه باشد و نه اجباری و به صورت اخراج گروپی و ثانیاً باید تدریجی بوده و تقسیم اوقات منظم داشته باشد و سوم در میان مهاجرین ما یک گروه بزرگی از افرادی هستند که صاحب دانش، تخصص و سرمایه هستند. باید با آنان اجازه داده شود که به صورت قانونی دانش و سرمایه و کسب و کار خود را به افغانستان انتقال دهند. 4. نکته مهم این است که جامعه بین‌المللی باید یک نقش روشن و شفاف و مؤثر را به عهده بگیرد. ما در عودت مهاجرین از کمک‌های نقدی و جنسی به مهاجرین استقبال می‌کنیم، ولی این بسنده و مفید نیست. باید همکاری و کمک جامعه بین‌المللی رشد محور باشد و به ایجاد شغل و اقتصاد پایدار در افغانستان کمک کند. دوم، موضوع جنگ و صلح در افغانستان. در این رابطه چند نکته کوتاه را قابل تذکر می‌دانم. یک، از آنجا که عودت مهاجرین پیوند وثیق به مسئله صلح دارد، ما از مذاکرات بین طالبان و ایالات متحده آمریکا به منظور امضای یک موافقتنامه به تمام معنا استقبال می‌کنیم. ولی ما انتظار داریم که امضای این موافقتنامه زمینه را برای گفتگوهای مستقیم بین طالبان و دولت افغانستان فراهم گرداند. دو، دولت جمهوری اسلامی پاکستان باید در ایجاد صلح با ما شریک باشد. میخوام صادقانه بگویم ما بدون مشارکت پاکستان و سهمگیری و همکاری دولت پاکستان نمیتوانیم به صلح دست پیدا کنیم. 3. اگر طالبان پایگاه‌ها و پناهگاه‌های خود و رابطه خود با سایر گروه‌های افراطی و تروریستی را همچنان حفظ کند، هرچند آتش بس هم شود، صلح پایدار به دست نخواهد آمد. مردم ما خواستار ختم بنیادی خشونت هستند و صلح تنها یک وسیله برای ختم خشونت است. صلح واقعی آن است که همه مردم در کشور آزادانه از حقوق شهروندی خود استفاده کنند و حق شرکت در انتخابات را داشته باشند و طالبان هم مانند سایر شهروندان باید از این حقوق برخوردار شوند و در حاکمیت سیاسی افغانستان سهیم گردند. 4. صلح به معنای بازگشت به گذشته نیست. افغانستان هم در شرایط 2001 قرار ندارد. پروسه صلح و مذاکره باید در مالکیت افغانها باشد. تیم مذاکره باید با محوریت و رهبری دولت جمهوری اسلامی افغانستان به طور همه شمول و فراگیر از همه مردم افغانستان نمایندگی کند. از شرایط و مقدمات اساسی و اصلی برقراری صلح این است که کاهش خشونت‌ها به گونه‌ای باشد که همزمان با تداوم مذاکرات صلح به یک آتش بس دائمی و همه جانبه در افغانستان منجر شود. سوم، موضوع روابط دو کشور. جناب صدر اعظم عمران خان، امروز افتخار دارم که در کنار شما از روابط دوستانه دو کشور سخن میگویم. شما یک سیاستمدار مسلمان و صادق و یک فعال حقوق بشر و یک مبارز ضد فقر و فساد بوده اید و علاوه بر رهبری حکومت چندین نهاد سیاسی، علمی، صحی و ورزشی را رهبری میکنید. شما بهتر از من دردهای دو ملت و هم مشکلات دو حکومت و هم راه حل‌ها را درک میکنید و من به نمایندگی از هیئت رهبری دولت افغانستان از شما تشکر میکنم که در هر مناسبتی از افغانستان به نیکی یاد کرده و بر روابط دوستانه دو کشور تأکید کرده اید. در این رابطه چند نکته کوتاه را به عرض میرسانم. یک، ما دولت‌های افغانستان و پاکستان هیچ چاره‌ای نداریم جز این که با هم روابط دوستانه داشته باشیم. مشترکات تاریخی، فرهنگی، دینی و پیوستگی جغرافیایی و انسانی ما به حد این دو کشور را به هم پیوند داده است که هیچ کدام نمیتواند بدون همکاری با یکدیگر به موجودیت خود ادامه دهد. بدون ایجاد ثبات در افغانستان، پاکستان هرگز نمیتواند یک ثبات پایدار را در خود تضمین کند و هرگز نمیتواند به رفاه و اهداف اقتصادی خود دست پیدا کند. جناب صدر اعظم، شما از کسانی هستید که علامه اقبال را الگوی فکری خود اعلام کرده اید. ما هم فوق العاده به این فیلسوف، متفکر و شاعر پاکستانی احترام قائل هستیم. علامه اقبال عاشق افغانستان بود. از نظر علامه اقبال افغانستان قلب تپنده پیکر آسیا است. او گفته بود آسیا یک پیکر آب و گل است، ملت افغان در آن پیکر دل است. از فساد او فساد آسیا، در گشاد او گشاد آسیا. دو، بنابراین بیاییم همه ما روایت خود را تغییر بدهیم. روایت امنیت محور و روایت تهدید پنداری باعث بدبختی همه ما شده است. در حقیقت ما نه پاکستان را تهدید برای منافع ملی خود می‌دانیم و نه افغانستان تهدیدی برای پاکستان است. اما بدون شک امنیت ملی و منافع ملی هر کدام ما به یکدیگر گره خورده است و باید تصمیمی بگیریم که این پیوند متقابل را با یک مکانیزم روشن به یک همکاری پایدار تبدیل کنیم. 3. افراطیت، تروریسم و فقر دشمنان خطرناک و مشترک هر دو کشور است و از سوی دیگر رفاه اقتصادی و ثبات سیاسی هم دو آرزوی مشترک مردمان کشورهای ماست. 4. ما نمیخواهیم افغانستان برای ابد صحنه یک جنگ نیابتی باشد. ما اهمیت ژئوپلیتیک و ژئواکونومیک کشور خود را به خوبی درک میکنیم. افغانستان برای قرنها در مسیر راه ابریشم و در چهارراه تجارت و دادوستد منطقه‌ای و بین المللی قرار داشته و برای بیش از 2000 سال نقطه تلاقی مسیرهای تجاری بین چین و هند و شرق میانه و اروپا بوده است و ما اکنون هم می‌خواهیم که نقطه اتصال منطقوی و نقطه وصل همکاری‌های اقتصادی و فرهنگی باشیم. طبق مطالعات بانک انکشاف آسیایی در 2005 در صورتی که 13586 کیلومتر کریدورهای جاده‌ای برای تجارت بین آسیای مرکزی و آسیای جنوبی به شمول 3657 کیلومتر آن در خاک افغانستان اگر تکمیل گردد، تجارت منطقه‌ای به میزان 160% و تجارت ترانزیتی در منطقه به میزان 111% افزایش خواهد یافت. افغانستان کوتاه‌ترین مسیر برای انتقال گاز ترکمنستان به پاکستان و هند است که پروژه تاپی همکنون تحت کار است و همچنین صدور برق از قرقیزستان و تاجیکستان به پاکستان از طریق افغانستان یا کاسا 1000 همکنون تحت کار می باشد. ما برای این همکاری‌های منطقوی سازوکارهای مناسبی داریم، همچون کنفرانس همکاری‌های منطقوی یا ریکا، پروسه استانبول یا قلب آسیا، ایکو و همچنین سارک که خوشبختانه در همه اینها افغانستان و پاکستان با هم هر دو عضو هستیم. 5. در کنار آنچه گفتیم چند مسئله عاجل هم وجود دارد که دولت پاکستان باید برای حل آنها با ما همکاری کند. همکاری ها در زمینه تسهیلات تجارتی و ترانزیتی، حل مشکلات امنیتی، مبارزه با پولشویی و قاچاق مواد مخدر و استرداد مجرمین. در مورد استرداد مجرمین و همچنین تبادله محبوسین ما نیاز به یک توافقنامه استرداد مجرمین و همکاری‌های قضایی داریم که باید از طریق نهادهای مربوطه طرفین تهیه شده و هرچه زودتر به امضا برسد تا مشکلات موجود عدلی و قضایی بین ما حل شود. با امید توسعه هرچه بیشتر روابط دوستانه بین دو کشور و دو مردم ما و به امید عودت با عزت و داوطلبانه مهاجرین افغانستان. تشکر از توجه شما و السلام علیکم و رحمت الله.
Thank you, Afghan Second Vice President Ustad Server, for your remarks. The English version of his speech is placed by your sides for the reference. Now I would request the United Nations Secretary General, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, to address this esteemed guest audience and millions watching us from around the world.
Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, Vice President of Afghanistan, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Assalamu alaikum. We come together to recognize a remarkable story of solidarity and compassion. It is important to do so for many reasons, not least because it is a story that is sorely lacking in much of our world today. For 40 years, the people of Afghanistan have faced successive crises. For 40 years, the people of Pakistan have responded with solidarity. The generosity now spans across decades and generations. And this is the world's largest protracted refugee situation in recorded history. And this is also a story that is close to my heart. In my previous life as UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Pakistan was a familiar destination. During most of my period as High Commissioner, Pakistan was the #1 refugee hosting country on earth. For more than 3 out of every 4 years since 1979, either Pakistan or Iran have ranked as the world's top refugee hosting country. And even though major conflicts have since unfortunately erupted in other parts of the world and the refugee population has soared, Pakistan today is still the world's second largest refugee hosting country. On every visit here, I've been struck by the extraordinary resilience, exceptional generosity, and overwhelming compassion. I saw solidarity not just in words, but in deeds. The generous spirit is fully in line with what I regard as the most beautiful prescription for refugee protection in world history. It is found in the Surah Al-Tawbah of the Holy Quran. And I quote, "And if anyone seeks your protection, then grant him protection, so then he can hear the words of God. Then escort him where he can be secure." End of quote. This protection should be accorded to believers and non-believers alike, in a remarkable example of tolerance many centuries before the 1951 Refugee Convention that defines, in a modern concept, refugees and the protection they deserve. And I saw that compassion play out in real time here in Pakistan. And it was grounded in vision. We have seen many innovative policies take root here: biometric registration, access to the national education system, healthcare, and inclusion in the economy. And despite Pakistan's own challenges, these initiatives have made a big difference. Indeed, many have been recognized as a global model of good practice. Some of those progressive policies have inspired elements of the Global Compact on Refugees. And we have been proud to work with you to support Pakistani host communities and Afghan refugees. We have done so through integrated humanitarian and development actions across the country, alleviating the burden on Pakistan's national public service system and helping Afghans sustainably reintegrate back home. But we must recognize that international support for Pakistan has been minimal compared to your own national efforts. As we look to the challenges ahead, the global community must step up. On the one hand, we mark 40 unbroken years of solidarity, but we also despair at 40 broken years of hostility. The Afghan conflict drags on, and we see the deep impact of the protracted nature of conflict, poverty, and forced displacement. We know the solutions lies in Afghanistan. And I hope the signals of a possible pathway for peace will lead to a better future for the people of Afghanistan. I see with us Ambassador Khalizad, and I want to strongly encourage to pursue the way of peace. And you can count, and the Afghan people can count with the United Nations to support the efforts for peace. We don't seek any protagonism. We are here only to serve. The Afghan people needs and deserve, finally, peace and prosperity in full respect of their human rights. I want to reaffirm that the preferred durable solution for refugees has always been voluntary repatriation in safety and dignity to their country of origin. And this is also true for Afghan refugees. Our efforts on return and reintegration, led in large measure by UNHCR, are aligned with the Afghanistan National Peace and Development Framework. We are working together on a region-specific support platform to assist voluntary repatriation and sustainable reintegration of refugees in Afghanistan, while providing help to refugees and their host communities in both Pakistan and Iran. And our aim is to galvanize more resources and more investments, widen the circle of partners, and forge stronger linkages between humanitarian, development, and peace investments. And youth empowerment must be a special focus. We need a renewed commitment. We need to make sure that there is not only a strong movement towards peace, but that peace leads to effective reconstruction, creating the conditions for a successful return and reintegration of Afghan refugees. Working towards solutions for the Afghan people is not just a sign of solidarity, it's in the world's best interests. Afghans now constitute the largest group of arrivals in Europe, exceeding for the first time the arrivals from Syria. And returns to Afghanistan, as it was said, have hit a historical low. Afghanistan and its people cannot be abandoned. Now it's a time for the international community to act and to deliver. And our ability to succeed will be a litmus test for the Global Compact on Refugees. Its promise of greater responsibility sharing with countries that have shouldered the burden until now. Peace efforts leading to intra-Afghan negotiations will pave the way, but sustainable peace and security hinges on better integrating our work on humanitarian, development, and peace efforts. Done right, this work can be a model for the rest of the world. We must be realistic. We know big challenges lie ahead, but the message of this conference and the presence of so many senior government officials from all over the world is a testament of hope and commitment to a new partnership for solidarity and a better future for the people of Afghanistan and Pakistan and for the world. Shukriya.
Thank you, Secretary General Guterres. Now, the man who has been a world leader in advocacy for peace and reconciliation and inclusive and sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Secretary General, UN Commissioner for Refugees, Mr. Vice President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Today, this occasion of celebrating 40 years of Afghan refugees in Pakistan. And I said celebrating because there are not many instances in the modern world where those who have been refugees have conducted themselves with such dignity and honor, and the hosts, despite challenging economic situation, probably the last 20 years have been the most difficult for the people of Pakistan in terms of our economic situation. So the hosts, despite unemployment, competition for jobs, the way they have kept their relations, the wonderful relationship with the Afghan refugees. Let me just point out a side effect, a pleasant side effect of the Afghan refugees. The children in the refugee camps started watching the Pakistan cricket team and learning how to play cricket. And Afghanistan today has an international cricket team. But the embarrassing thing is that their under-19 cricket team beat Pakistan under-19 cricket team. I hope they don't beat us, our full cricket team. But this is a remarkable relationship that has endured. And I again repeat, considering the situation in Pakistan, what we faced, what our economy has faced. And it reminds me of one thing which I learned during when I was raising funds in my country for various charities, that generosity has nothing to do with one's bank balance. A country in the situation that we were, and I really say with pride that the way we have hosted our refugees. Bear in mind that Pakistan, when it came into being in 1947, had the biggest refugee problem. And my mother's family, of course, also were refugees coming from India in 1947. I want to refer to what the Afghanistan Vice President said when he talked about our Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and the Muslim migrants to Medina. You see, the reason why I feel that this relationship endured in Pakistan for 40 years was because of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who when they migrated from Makkah to Medina, when they faced religious persecution, that relationship between the people, hosts of Medina, and the refugees from Mecca was exemplary. And it has stayed in the Muslim psyche for all these centuries. And the second aspect I want to highlight about the great characteristic about our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that he was the ultimate leader. He believed in uniting human beings. His title given to him in our book, Holy Quran, was a mercy for mankind, not for Muslims, for mankind. And he showed an example of forgiving all the people who persecuted him and then uniting human beings. And this is the hallmark of a good leader. We love Nelson Mandela because he forgave the people who persecuted him, united human beings, saved South Africa. And unfortunately, when we look at much richer countries, this is not the case. Political leaders use refugee problems for dividing humanity. To get votes, they transfer hatred towards the refugees who already are suffering. Who wants to be a refugee? It is probably the most difficult decision for a human being to leave his home. And so as it is, the refugees are suffering because they are refugees. And on top of it, they face this xenophobia in so many influential, affluent, rich countries. On top of it, we have this new phenomena after 9/11, Islamophobia. Islamophobia compounds the miseries of Muslim refugees. And Islamophobia, we all know, it came after 9/11 because terrorism and Islam were equated, Islamic terrorism. People could not tell the difference. The extremes in a human society, all human societies have moderates, liberals, and extremists. And if you concentrate on the extremes of a human society, you can demonize any human society. When as a teenager, when I went to England for the first time, there were these people called the skinheads. They would go around beating people because of the color of their skin. Imagine if I had defined the British society by what I saw of the skinheads. I would have ended up demonizing one of the most liberal societies in the world. This is what is happening with Islam. And that's why Muslim refugees suffer more than other refugees. Mr. Secretary General, I'm especially worried about what is happening across the border in India. An extremist ideology has taken over a country of over 1 billion people with nuclear arms. The ideology which talks about racial superiority and then shifts the blame for why this race hasn't attained its so-called great potential, they shift it towards another minority and spread hate against him. This is the easiest way of getting votes. Nationalist parties all over the world now are gaining by actually blaming another human community for all their problems. And in India, with two legislation, the Registration Act and the Citizen Act, two legislation which are actually target 200 million people in India, Muslims in India. This, in future, if it's not checked, if the world community doesn't raise its voice against it, this injustice, this will have future problems for our country because it could have a huge refugee problem. The BJP leaders, we watch them on television. When the people protest against this unfair legislation, Muslims protest, they tell them to go to Pakistan. And secondly, what is happening in Kashmir? 8 million people are still in an open prison for over 6 months. It's because of this ideology. And this again has severe implications in the future if the world community doesn't raise its voice against it. And finally, about Afghanistan, the Afghan Vice President, thank you for saying complimentary things about me, but let me just clear first of all. It is my belief, it's not something I'm saying because of this conference or because I'm being a diplomat. It is my belief that the people of Afghanistan in the last 40 years have suffered more than any other human community. And I pray from my heart that these peace talks succeed in Afghanistan. We have been, ever since my government has come into power, we have tried our best. Whatever support we can give to these peace talks, I can tell you we have tried our best. Mr. Zalmay Khalidzad is sitting here. I've had several meetings with him. He knows that the whole country is on the same page. Our security forces are on the same page. Normally, there was an idea that the security forces in Pakistan had their own policy and the government a different one. This is not the case in Pakistan anymore. Whatever the situation might have been in the past, right now I can tell you, all of us, there's one thing we want is peace in Afghanistan. It's not just because we have 1.4 million registered refugees. We are the second country in the world with the second biggest refugee population, and for 22 years we were the #1 country with the biggest refugee population. It's not because of that, because the people of Afghanistan deserve peace. That's the most important thing. Just as a human being, we should all hope that the long-suffering Afghan people finally have peace. And we will be doing everything. We are doing everything to facilitate this process. And not only doing everything, we are praying that this peace process now moves forward in the right direction. Mr. Vice President, you mentioned about safe havens in Pakistan. I can tell you that there are no safe havens here. After 9/11, it is possible that there were places where the militants who were fighting in Afghanistan, it's possible they stayed. But then we have refugee camps for over 500,000 people, over 100,000 people. How is any government supposed to check a few thousand militants if they operate from within them? So in a way, it is important for peace so that the refugees, the conditions in Afghanistan are such that the refugees can go back. So then we can take responsibility if someone operates from this side. But with still 2.7 million Afghans here, it is not possible for us to completely guarantee, although we are building a fence now, and almost the fence has been completed. But it is still not possible. But rest assured, it is not in our interest that there's conflict in Afghanistan. Not in our interest. #1, I repeat, because we want peace in Afghanistan on a humanitarian level. And we've always had, and even before Pakistan came into being, this part of India always had close ties with Afghanistan. In fact, for 80 years or 70 years, this was part of Afghanistan where you're sitting right now. So, #1, on humanitarian basis. #2, because our areas on the borders, on the Durand line, either side of the border, this war on terror has devastated the people. There's massive poverty there. And the one way we can actually bring jobs and prosperity is by having trading relationship and peaceful relationship. So, to rehabilitate the merged districts that have become part of Pakistan, and at one point, half the population of the merged district was internally displaced, internal refugees. So to bring them, give them jobs, bring prosperity, we need peace in Afghanistan. And then, for the future, the connectivity between Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Central Asia, as Mr. Vice President mentioned again, that is the future. Trade. It is how we will give. We have the second youngest population in the world. We need to give them jobs. Jobs won't come with conflict. We need peace. So let me assure you that it is not in the interest of Pakistan for there to be any strife in Afghanistan. Whatever, I don't know, whatever the policies might have been before, but I can tell you, since 1.5 years my government has come into power, we have done everything, and I really mean everything, to facilitate the Afghan peace process. Finally, Secretary General, I want to especially welcome you here. I want to welcome you because it's a very important time. I think the UN must play its part. I don't say it as political point scoring. I really am worried of what is happening in India. And it's not just me who's worried. If you look at the demonstrations in India, what is going on, the civil society, the intellectuals, the opposition party members, everyone is worried what's happening there. I know India. I used to play cricket, and cricket, as you know, the India-Pakistan cricket match, was bigger than most of you probably watch Soccer World Cup. This was the biggest event that ever used to take place. And I can tell you, this is not the India I know. This is not the India of Nehru and Gandhi. This is something unique that's happening. And as a student of history, whenever an ideology that is based on hate and which brings in this ultra-nationalism of any race, it always ends up in bloodshed. This ideology was inspired by the Nazi Germans, by the Nazis. You just have to read what their founding fathers said about the Nazis, how they admired them, the racial purity, and how the ethnic cleansing of Jews was accepted by them. And if this ideology is not checked, like in the 30s, the Nazi ideology was not checked, it will end in massive bloodshed. This is not a small joke, a country of over 1 billion people. Pakistan, a country of over 200 million people. And in future, if the United Nations does not play its part, this could become one of the flashpoints in the world. And that's why, not to alarm you, but prevention is better than cure. Before things go out of hand, and the statement of Indian Prime Minister that they can destroy Pakistan in 11 days, does a responsible Prime Minister of a country of over 1 billion people, does he make a statement like that? And then the army chief saying that they can take over Pakistan side of Kashmir whenever the parliament signals. So it is heading in the wrong direction. I was in the United Nations in September, and this was the first time I flagged it. Things have only gone worse since then, and unless the world community takes notice, things will get far worse. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister Imran Khan, for your inspiring words. This brings us to the end of the opening segment. The conference holds 2 days long segments which will surely keep everyone interested and involved. We look forward for your active participation. On the behalf of the organizers, I thank you all and invite you to proceed for the tea outside.
पाकिस्तान में 40 साल से मुकीम अफगान महाजरीन से मुतालिक आलमी कॉन्फ्रेंस का इनेकाद किया गया। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान इस कॉन्फ्रेंस से खिताब कर रहे थे। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म ने कहा कि गुज़श्ता 20 साल पाकिस्तान के अवाम के लिए बहुत ही मुश्किल हालात रहे। अफगान महाजरीन के बच्चों ने पाकिस्तान में क्रिकेट खेलना सीखी। आज अफगानिस्तान आलमी दर्जाबंदी में शामिल हो चुकी है अफगानिस्तान की टीम। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म ने कहा कि पाकिस्तान ने अपनी तमाम तर मौशी मुश्किलात के बावजूद लाखों अफगान महाजरीन की मेज़बानी जारी रखी। इस्लाम सिर्फ मुसलमानों के हुकूक का नहीं बल्कि पूरी इंसानियत के हुकूक के एहतराम का दर्स देता है। अल्लाह ताला कुरान पाक के ज़रिए इंसानियत पर रहम का दर्स देता है। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म ने कहा कि मगरबी दुनिया में इस्लामोफोबिया की वजह से मुसलमान महाजरीन को बहुत से मसाइल का सामना करना पड़ रहा है। पाकिस्तान में तमाम इदारे और हुकूमत एक सफ़े पर हैं। पूरी पाकिस्तानी कौम और इदारे अफ़गानिस्तान में अमन और तरक्की के ख़्वाह हैं। पाकिस्तान अफ़गानिस्तान में इलाकाई तजारत को फ़रोग़ दे रहा है। और इस वक्त मनाजिर हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं कि UNHCR के ज़रिए तमाम अफगान महाजरीन की जानिब से हैंडीक्राफ्ट्स के स्टॉल्स लगाए गए और इन्हीं स्टॉल का इस वक्त दौरा कर रहे हैं वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान और उनके हमरा हैं अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा के सेक्रेटरी जनरल अंतोनियो गुतेरेस, जो कि खुसूसी तौर पर इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में शिरकत के लिए आए हैं। आपको बताते चलें कि इन स्टॉल्स का जो बुनियादी मकसद है वो अफगान तहजीब व सकाफत को उजागर करना है, साथ ही साथ ये जो हुनर है अफगानिस्तान के लोगों का, इस हुनर को प्रमोट करना है और इस फन को पूरी दुनिया में मुतारिफ कराना है। अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा के सेक्रेटरी जनरल अंतोनियो गुतेरेस ने भी इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के इनेकाद पर पाकिस्तान का शुक्रिया अदा किया। उन्होंने कहा कि 40 साल से पाकिस्तान ने अफगान महाजरीन की जिस तरह से मदद की है वो काबिल तकलीद है। उन्होंने कहा कि पाकिस्तान महाजरीन की मेज़बानी करने वाला दूसरा बड़ा मुल्क है। ये 40 साल कहानी मेज़बानी, बरादराना ताल्लुकात और कुर्बानी के जज्बों पर मबनी है। उन्होंने कहा कि पाकिस्तान ने अपने अंदरूनी मसाइल के बावजूद अफगान महाजरीन के लिए बेहतरीन इक़दाम किए। PTV न्यूज़ से ये थी अब तक की ताज़ा तरीन खबर। मज़ीद खबरों और अपडेट्स के लिए आप हमारे साथ रहिए।